Welcome to the Success Resequencing Project. I'm Debbie Ponticus.
And I'm Jenn Newman.
Join us as we challenge the traditional definitions of success so you can build a fulfilling path of your own.
Get ready for inspired, candid conversations while gaining tools, inspiration, and confidence to create your own authentic success story.
Hello. Here we are yet again.
Yes, we are.
I know. So
where are we going today?
Ooh, this is going to be a ride. I feel like we're going on a ride.
We're going on a ride?
Yeah, but we don't know where.
Is this like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, or are we getting on like soaring over California? Like,
no, I'm doing like the Incredicoaster.
All right, let's go.
Well, yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, and so we do these podcasts and we come into the studio and we record several at once because we're very busy and that's just how we do this. And earlier you were saying like you've reached a point of zero fucks to give.
Correct.
And you just can't make another, no. It's not that you can't make a decision. You're just so tired of having to make decisions. Mm-hmm. So like, tell us about that, Jenn Newman. Like, how did we get to this point? Because I feel like a lot of people probably are feel the same as you do, like in their business or where they are. And they've just reached a point to say, you know what? I don't care.
First, I think the zero fucks to give is somewhat of a byproduct of age. I think I'm at a place, maybe it's where I'm at on my perimenopausal journey, which I think is slowly, maybe not slowly, moving into full menopause. And I'm just at a place where I'm like, I have listened and spent so many years caring about other people's opinions, checking in. What do people think about this? Sometimes it's death by consensus, talking through this and that. And what do they think? And what? Okay, fine. But what do I think? Mm-hmm. Do I care about that? Is that important to me? No, then I don't care.
Yeah.
Meaning freeing up headspace to care about the things that really matter, understanding that when it's all said and done, the season of life that I'm in is that it's very few things that are really worth taking up the time, space, and energy to belabor.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not that important. Like at the end of the day, my family, Jim's health, Lila's well-being, their well-being collectively, our well-being as a family, the people that I care and love, and what else? It's all the other stuff is just stuff.
Yeah.
It's some of it's temporary. Some of it comes and it goes. There's ups, there's downs, there's highs, there's low. If I care about all of that and give in this, what we're referring to is, I have a fuck to give about all of that. I am not going, like, it's not sustainable energetically, emotionally, physically, mentally to care that much about every single blessed thing. You got to get really clear on what matters. And then everything else, it's all good. It's a good problem to have that I need to make as many decisions as I make on a daily basis about my business. That's a good problem to have. Yeah. That's a first world problem to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need to, and I'm busy as a business owner, and that's not a badge of honor.
Yeah.
That is a responsibility of being a business owner. That's part of what comes with the deal. I own a business. I run a business. I'm busy. I have people that work with me. I manage people. That's all. I chose that. So great. Okay. And right. Like my brain is in that place of, and all right, what? There's no badge of honor to that. That's just part of the deal. I signed up for that. And so there's that going on with this. Zero fucks to give is more about, I can't be wrapped around the axle with every little thing that comes my way.
Yeah.
There's just been enough big stuff that really does matter that anything after that is just kind of like, okay, it is what it is.
And you mentioned that maybe that comes with maturity, maybe that comes with just age, where you finally just get to a point where you realize that And I do feel like this is a journey that people have to go through this journey. I don't know. There may be a few, 20-year-olds out there that can go ahead and own this mentality of like, I don't give a fuck. All I'm caring about is where I'm going, what I'm doing. And if it doesn't impact my direction and if it doesn't impact my happiness, I'm not going to care about it anymore. That's not saying that you're dismissive to everyone around you.
Because anyone who knows me knows that is not the case.
It is not the case. But it's also about being able to recognize when someone else is putting pressures on you that really have no business entering into your world of decisions. But you need to gain that experience from over time to then be able to be like, wait a minute here. You're asking XYZ of me because that's going to help you. Or that's because you think that's what I should do with my life. But the truth is, I don't need to do that. So I'm not going to add that to the plate. I'm not going to add your opinion to the mix of decisions that I have to be concerned about. I'm going to worry about my opinion on where I think I should be and what I need to be focused on and what's important to me right this minute.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you're not happy with that decision.
Yeah, I think the way this conversation with this topic can sometimes easily go is that people are lacking empathy and compassion toward others. Mm-hmm. And there are many people who are that way.
Sure.
They're solely focused on themselves. They don't care about anybody else. It doesn't matter. They think about themselves first. That's it. It kind of all rises and sets with them. I'm not that person. Who I am is that I've been very concerned over the years about the people that are in my world in a way that sometimes I'm taking something on or internalizing something that is not mine to internalize. The older I've gotten, the more I've realized it's that sense of I have no control over the people in my life. That includes my husband. That includes my child. The only person I have control over is me. And then there is a piece of me that is having to lean into the fact that there are some things changing in my life that I just don't have any control over. And my job is to actually be able to go with the flow. And that doesn't mean to not get my needs met. It does mean that I'm not going to be able to control the outcome. There's some of it that I am along for the ride. So what I can do, what I can give a fuck about is my mental state, my emotional state, my personal development work, being focused and grounded and centered as best I possibly can, understanding that part of my journey is that there's some stuff ahead that I'm going to have to navigate that I may not want to do. That does not mean that I get to not do that. I'm in it to win it. Stuff's going to happen that I've got to navigate. That's the way it is with life. But I can try my best to protect my peace, and I can try my very best to protect my energy so that I am not zapped all of the time. And that's the piece. So zero fucks to give for me is more about or getting caught up in the weeds of things that don't matter. At all.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't matter. What difference does it? It's the, we talked about the boxes or bags or the, you know what I mean? Like getting in the weeds in the conversation episode.
Irrelevant data.
It's irrelevant. It just doesn't make a difference. Yeah. And I can say that with great compassion because I will get so caught up in the details that it's ridiculous. And I have to step back, pull back out, look at 35,000 feet and go, does this really matter? In the scheme of it all, does it really matter? And the truth of it, 9 times out of 10 is no.
Yeah.
And there's a thing that fuels us sometimes where it's like the busier I am and the more I have to do and the this and that, and I'm so important. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
No.
The truth is everyone's more concerned about how important they are to focus on how important you are. Follow that.
Yep.
It's kind of the same mentality of how we get dressed when we're going out. We get dressed to impress others around us, Like we think, oh, am I going to look good in this? Are people going to think I look good in this dress? Am I going to look skinny? Am I going to look pretty? Am I going to look this? When everyone else is also at home sitting there going, I wonder if anyone's going to... We're so concerned about what others are going to think about us that we don't realize that everyone in the room isn't even paying attention to you because they're so concerned about what they think everyone in the room is thinking about them.
Totally.
So it's that whole mindset of like, wait a minute, it doesn't matter.
Which puts all the other nonsense into perspective. I also think that I can't go back. I can't turn back the clock and redo my life, redo my past mistakes. All I can do is move forward with them and try each day to live better than the day before. And what I'm learning through all of this for me personally is that the more I extend grace to myself, the more grace I can extend to others. And that's been also part of that. So I can say, tongue in cheek, I have zero fucks to give. The truth of the matter is it's like, because if it doesn't matter, then it's wasting time. And time is our most precious commodity. And I don't want to spend my life worried about shit that's not even going to matter, or that I'm frankly going to even remember in 10 days, because God knows, welcome to perimenopause. I might not remember it in 5 minutes, let alone 10 days from now or a year from now.
Facts.
And why am I going to waste my time? Because that to me comes back to stewardship. And that for me is the big takeaway, which is like, if I'm being given today, then what am I going to do with today that matters? Because I only know I'm in today. And if I'm to be a good steward, we always would talk about this in terms of times and talents, like growing up in a religious upbringing. And I'm like, right, we are given time, and that is a gift. And I don't want to waste it on all this other bullshit that, no, to your point, everybody's worried about themselves anyway. It's like, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it just...
Well, it's the drama. Okay. That's where I go back to. It's like, the drama that everything tends to revolve around sometimes, like whether it's coworkers, whether it's, I don't even know. It's just like, I think that's where I get like, I'm like, I don't give, and I don't need the drama. I don't need your drama. I don't want drama in my own life, let alone me having to mess with your drama in your life. Like, let's just like,
because that shit's the stuff that doesn't matter. When it's really dramatic,
yes,
it's a whole different ball game. Like when the shit really hits the fan and stuff needs to be dealt with, that energy does not enter the chat.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. You're in a totally different mode. It's boots on the ground. Let's get this done. Let's get this handled. Let's do whatever it takes. That is not drama. The drama is the kibitzing. And frankly, I feel like drama is just another word for fucking boredom. People are bored. They don't want to deal with their own shit. So they're going to look at everybody else's and they're going to comment on it. They're going to talk about it and debrief and think they've got it all figured out. The reality is, you don't know what I'm going through. Kiss my ass. I'm dealing with my own shit. I'm doing the best I can every day to try to manage my anxiety, run a business, deal with a husband that has a health condition, deal with my child who is moving into adulthood, making sure she's okay. Finding out, like this week, like somebody yells at her and her girlfriend out the car door. They yell some expletives, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. We're in 2025 and we're still going to talk about hate crimes. Like,
wow.
Really? That's the kind of shit. Like, okay, I can't even control that.
Yeah.
But I've got people to be present for. I've got clients to be present for, my family. My point is that that's I don't have time to sit and kibitz about so-and-so's BS. I don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
And I've had to learn that the hard way. Full disclaimer. That's the piece that I have to watch. I learned it the hard way. I did pass judgment in the past. Thought I had someone all figured out and realized I didn't know shit. I didn't know about their internal struggles. I didn't know what they were going through. I didn't know what context that was coming from. And then something does happen and I felt such guilt. Like, how could I have judged? That is so wrong of me.
Right.
I don't want that done to me. Why am I going to do that to someone else? I mean, yes, we can all have our moments of cattiness and like, I get it. But
right.
I'm human. But at the end of the day, I don't want to spend my time focused on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't help anybody. It certainly doesn't help me. It doesn't help them. What's the point?
So what do you think as far as like, when you grow a business and you become successful and you've got 100 hats you're wearing and, you finally reach this point of, you know what, I can't care about things that don't matter anymore. I have 10 hours today to actually get stuff done. So I have to figure out what truly is moving the needle, what truly is pushing my happiness forward, versus, so weathering through all the other bullshit, right?
Yep.
So, what is it that we have to do? Like, what is it where you get to this point and you've got a to-do list staring at you? It's 6:30. Dinner hasn't been prepared yet. But you're like, if I don't do it now, that just made tomorrow even harder. Like, how do we get to this point where we can like start understanding like we can't do it all? We can't do it all.
I think for me personally, my health has always been my barometer. My physical health and my mental well-being, when I start to get too far up on my tree, it means I've said yes to too many things or I have not prioritized the things that matter. And so the answer to the riddle is I will never have a completed to-do list because life is always moving forward and something's always changing, which means we're responding, we're doing things differently. So now I'm learning, is this really gonna change if I wait until my good hours, which start at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's 8 o'clock at night. Is it going to take me twice as long to get this done because I'm exhausted and I'm ready to go to bed than if I just get up in the morning and do it at 5 o'clock and it'll take me 3 minutes?
Yeah.
It's not about delaying it. It's about saying, what's the best use of my time right now? The best use of my time, I've been up since 5, is to go to bed.
Yeah. Well, I find that I'm also looking at the to-do list and saying, what is half the stuff on here?
That too.
Like, why is that even important? When you start to feel like the pressure coming on and you're like, oh, I'm getting behind and I don't know, how am I going to get it all done? And oh, I've said yes to too many things or whatever, like just those growing pains of growing a business and where you're like, okay, do I hire someone? I don't know. Then you look at your list and you're like, does anyone care that email did not go out today? Correct. Does anyone care that email ever goes out?
Right.
Like those types of things where you have to really start assessing what's necessary and what's not, what's critical, what's not, so that you can get to this point of like, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not going to lose quality time with my family. I'm not going to put myself through whatever I'm about to do, losing sleep, health issues, all that it doesn't matter. But you have to identify those things. You have to figure out, well, wait, that doesn't really impact someone picking up the phone and calling me, or that doesn't impact, how successful I'm going to be this year.
No, first of all, half of that is ego, right? And I think that when we start to get to the bottom of what we're doing on a daily basis, what's about them and what's about me? Is it because I need to say that I've done that? Or is it that this is actually going to provide value, or this is actually something that I have given my word that I'm going to do and I need to follow through? And when I'll look at my list and see that there are many things on there that are self-created, meaning they're self-imposed, I'll sit back and reevaluate what's the need behind this? Is this just so I can say I did this, or do I actually owe it to someone because I gave them my word?
Right.
And I would say that's constantly a work in progress, right? Because sometimes it just means I gave my word to myself, and so I feel like I need to close that tab and execute that thing because I promised myself I would do it.
Right.
But deeper still, it's the why.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is that really necessary?
Right. Are you doing it because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses? Are you doing it because you are getting in a competitive environment with someone for some reason? That is not healthy.
Insecurity,
it's insecurity, right? So it's like I really identifying and that's where I think we get to the point of like, I don't get because you start getting almost mad at yourself for allowing certain things to pull you away from really important things because you realized you were chasing someone else's dream.
Perhaps.
You realize like, I'm so frustrated that I even gave this 2 seconds of my time.
Totally. But then when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
Right. And it just takes that awareness and grow. Yes. And then how cool to then know that moving forward, I'm not going to do that. And so it's going to free up just a little more space, whether it's real time, whether it's mental, emotional, physical space, great, whatever that is. And I do think that that is just what comes from experience.
Yeah.
And we can't control what that experience looks like. We live our way into the answer. Do you remember back, it was like early 2000s-ish, there was that line, and they still exist, mind you, but when they first came out, they were the square cards by quotable cards, and they were always a quote with some sort of design. They then morphed into magnets, and then they morphed into coffee mugs, but the quotable cards spinner would be in more gift shops and whatnot, and they were always powerful quotes on the front, usually blank on the inside. And man, they just nailed it. They were so good, just really good, juicy quotes. One of them, it was on a blue background. That's why I called it the big blue card. But it was a quote by Rilke that basically is saying, embrace the questions, embrace what they are. And I'm going to butcher the hell out of this. So just know that.
Yeah.
This is Jenn's gist. God bless. But basically it was saying, appreciate the questions for what they are themselves, for it is in the living of those questions that you will at one point live your way into the answer. And I feel like that's where zero fucks to give comes from. It's living my way to that place to get really clear about how I want to spend my time, how I want the quality of my life to be, how I want my business to be, so that it's not me running all over town. It's actually being intentional about the time that's spent, because otherwise, what's it for?
Yeah.
It's not a torture device.
Right.
I did not create a prison. I created a business. A business that we all came into, for the most part, to have freedom. Now, we all know that that is the ultimate irony in a real estate business. But over time, I have come to realize, though, that then you embrace the freedom that you do have at random times and circumstances when no one else does. And what does that look like? And what do I want my business to look like in 10 years from now? And what will happen when the time comes that I want to sell my business? What does that look like? That helped kind of clear up a lot of this, like, 72 newsletters, right? It's like, okay, this is why I'm doing this way. And this is why we have these processes and these procedures. And this is why we have client interfacing the way we do, and why we're structuring our listings this way, because that's all the bigger picture. It's not so much about the little weeds. That was more about me. The big stuff, it's like, this is how to do something that anyone could step in and then continue to do. That was important for me as a business owner. Not because I think that real estate businesses are necessarily ones that people come and buy, but I think when you build them right, it's about the intention behind it. And it also, that comes confidence, right? Like, I've built something, I can stand, my name's on it. I can stand behind this. So if it doesn't support that,
what's the point? Yeah.
Does it have to? Because, you and I both have teams, and you know that people are, it's like when you have your first kid and the baby, you're like basically crowning, and you've got people asking, when's the next one? And you're like, dude, let me just get this one out first. I don't know, right? I feel the same way with business. It's like you go to the next level with something, and then they're already asking you what's next. And sometimes you just need to crown, and sometimes you're crowning for a while. You might need to push repeatedly. Okay.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, right? We've talked about all sorts of metaphors today.
Yes.
Very graphic.
You really do have to listen to the end of all of our podcasts, because like, we have every intent. Like, we start out really serious, like, and have an intent on what the message we're going to get across. And then by the end, it's like crowning and trimming bushes and like, it's great. It's great. But like, you got to
trim the bush before you crown. That could be a whole new episode.
Yes. The metaphor of life.
Yes. Thank you.
Get your ducks in order.
Get ready.
Get it ready.
Yes. It's never too late to have good grooming.
No.
So that being said, as I'm going to try to put some sort of a bow on this, God bless us all. It might be one of those newspaper wrapped gifts where you're like, you know, grandma ran out of wrapping paper, so she used the newspaper.
Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go. Perimenopause, crowning.
We were
always asking about what's next.
Yes.
When people are, you're like, dude, I just got the team built. Now we're asking about how am I going to grow the team and how many people. Slow down.
Right.
Stay present. And this other stuff can wait. And that's, I think, part of this journey right now is embracing what is.
Yeah.
What is today? What do I have today?
Yeah.
Give immense gratitude for that. And knowing that that's the most important key, right? Is the gratitude piece.
The gratitude piece. And like you said, just truly, we have said this over and over and over again. And it's stuff that I have to repeat to myself. And I'm sure you repeat to yourself. It's like, you really just need to come back and focus on what the why is. And then it'll makes cutting out the bullshit so much easier. Mm-hmm. And all these questions and pressures of what's next and all this, it's like, it doesn't matter if it doesn't fit. Like you may be where you are. That's it. And that's it is not a negative. Like you've arrived. This is what you've worked hard for, is where you are today. Yeah. So there's no sense in the next. The next is enjoying it.
Well, and give gratitude for what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like I am definitely a person that's always going to have to fight against the what's next, because I am so a firm believer that we're in fluid motion, right? That it's constantly ebbing and flowing and growing. Sure. So I don't like stagnant water, right? I don't want mosquitoes in my pond. I want to keep going and it be this lovely, fresh stream. That being said, it does not take away from the fact that sometimes we just have to sit still and say, thank God for today. Yeah. Thank God that today was a good day. And
it's okay to change. It's okay. You don't have to get stuck in a rut. No. Like this is what we preach all the time. Like you can build something to greatness and say, I'm ready for a change. Like there is nothing wrong with that.
Not at all.
And there used to be, and there is, I still think, a stigma to that in our society, but that you can reinvent yourself.
All day long.
And because to your point, we are constantly flowing and life is there to live. And who cares what anyone else thinks? Live your life the way you want to live. And if you want to change your career at 55,
cheers.
Cheers. We're here to help you and encourage you to do that. And I admire that. I honestly admire that. And it pains me to think that people get to a point in their life where they think, this is it. This is all I got. Just gotta, can't make a change now. And you're miserable. And I'm like, God, no.
It's the worst.
Oh man, so I brought this up because, I've always, we've been having a lot of fun today in the studio and we always say fun things. And then when you said this before we started this podcast about, I'm just at a point of 0 fucks to give right now. Yeah. I was like I admire so much your point of view on life and growing business. And I've seen how hard you've worked to grow your business. And, you have done things with your business that I wouldn't have even thought of to do with mine. And I love watching it, and it's refreshing to see that you have this outlook of like, what I'm interpreting it as from outside looking in is that you finally arrived to where you are now at a place where it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks, And I know that there's a lot to say but that to me was like really neat to see. And it's been great to see you get to where you are to just be like, it doesn't matter. I am where I need to be.
That's right.
And I am making the decisions that are important to me. And look at me. Like, and it's not a comparison, but like to say if anyone wants to down that for whatever reason, which nobody is, but like look at what I've built. Look at what you've built. You have become what you wanted to become 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You set your mind to it and you did it. And now you can sit on top and look and say how grateful you are to everyone around you that has supported you to get to where you are today. But what a freeing feeling to be where you know you're supposed to be and to be able to say, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I really don't, because this is my life and I'm proud of it. And I am doing it and I am successful and I am going to continue to grow and build and learn and ebb and flow and do it your way.
And ultimately, a great responsibility to be that much more of service, that much more to give more than I receive.
Yeah.
That to me that's my barometer.
Yeah.
Right. That's the internal compass, which is, I think, for me, the biggest takeaway. It's like, okay, that's true. We've gotten this far. And now how does this evolve and grow so that it is still able to give more than we receive?
Yeah.
And so that means, who knows what that means,
Yeah.
but that's how
That's the
it's
next
constantly, and how it's constantly staying fresh and of service. Because I don't ever want to rest on my laurels, ever. Because I just don't think that does anybody any good. That's where that can breed complacency, and I don't. I'm like, nope. But we say today, this is awesome for today, and now who are we gonna serve? Who's next, and how are we gonna serve them better than before?
Yeah,
including
cheers
ourselves.
To you. Like, thanks for being an inspiration for, like,
zero fucks to give. I'm really glad that I could do that.
This is your pinnacle. This is going down. This is what's being written in the stone.
There it is. Jenn Newman,
zero fucks to give. Amen.
Cheers to that.
Thanks for joining us. If you loved this episode and know of someone who would find value in it, please spread the word and share it with a friend. We are passionate about redefining success, and it would mean the world if you could help us get our mission out to as many people as possible. Please take a moment to write a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. You can also hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest episodes. Connect with us on Instagram at Success Resequencing Project or via our website at www.successresequencing.com. We'd love to hear your story.